client, you can't just go in there and just, it's spaghetti against the wall and just hope for the best, because you want to be laser beam focused. You want to be able to actually go out there and be systematic. You want to be able to look at your audience in a different way and really it's all about connectivity. It's not just about how many connections do you have, but it's about what kind of relationship do you have with those people. The other thing you want to be aware of is, what kind of content are you pushing out there? The biggest thing I would say with LinkedIn, your end goal should always be is setting up meetings, actual consultative meetings, because if you're not doing that one thing, everything else is really just sort of is wasted motion. I call it all smoke and no fire. And we work with a lot of clients that they, in the beginning they've got all these connections, and so then we have to move them, through to the next phase. What other mistakes would you say people make with their LinkedIn, Corey?
Well, here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back in just a couple minutes. And this is the Mojo Marketing Edge. So we're actually doing our live hangout for the first time on YouTube as well for this. So it's kind of exciting. But we'll be right back, and we'll see you in just a moment. Okay, cool. I don't think, Ira didn't.
No.
For some reason.
No, not at all. Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right. So we're doing a Google Hangout right now.
All right. Yeah, it's just, getting in all these other things just kind of, it's hard to get really super excited about all these other things when LinkedIn works is so effortless compared to everything else.
Yeah. It's just a topic we haven't covered in Mojo Lead Mastery. So, I wanted to capitalize on the opportunity to talk about that. I get it. We should talk about it. But, it's a topic that when we have it, we put it in Mojo Lead Mastery, and that's valuable information for people still,
right.
So I know it's hard to get excited about it, but that's still valuable for people to hear, for sure.
No, it's hard to get excited about other things. No, when I say other things, I'm talking about LinkedIn is, in other words, speaking gig, all those things are important, but LinkedIn to me is the thing that I get all excited about.
But it's still, I know.
There's other,
But yeah, it's kind of like
there's a lot.
That's where we started. I mean, we did a lot of speaking gigs, so that's an important piece there. I mean, that's how we became kind of local rock stars, right, Ira? Just
absolutely
doing a lot of speaking. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's a topic that we kind of covered in another section, but it was just kind of danced over. Really,
you talking about LinkedIn now?
Speaking. No, I'm talking about speaking.
Oh,
yes, right. LinkedIn is the biggest piece in that whole program.
So do you want to talk about speaking in the next segment here?
Let's just continue the topic on LinkedIn, and we'll do speaking another time. So, because here's the thing, I want it back to back speaking. If we're gonna do it, you do it all, because then you got to cut it up, and then it's just becomes weird. So, if we're gonna do any one topic, we got to do the whole show about that one topic, so we don't have to go and chop it. And then it's,
Yeah.
All right, Corey Michael Sanchez here. This is the Mojo Marketing Edge, and we are doing this live in studio. And we've actually got our first Google Hangout going. So I'm looking at you, Google. You're streaming right now. So we got lots of listeners on the broadcast, kind of thing. So maybe there's some people out there watching it. Who knows? But kind of an exciting first experiment. So we'll be doing more of the Google Hangouts of this. Now let's talk about. More about LinkedIn, right? So we talked about the 3 mistakes people make. Number 1, not getting into it. Number 2, doing the wrong things. They don't know what to do. Number 3 is not doing it consistently, right? And then we start talking about, what are your main things you want to start with, and start talking about, you want to get connections with your perfect prospects, right? And then everything from there I was talking about is getting a meeting set up. So, and that's really important. I mean, that, out of anything else that you could ever do on LinkedIn, get meetings set up. Everybody likes to think, if they got more connections, they're going to be, wealthier. They're going to do more business, right? And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, there's tons of people with tons of connections that probably aren't making a penny on all of them. And that's sad. So you don't want to be in the sad group of LinkedIn users where you just got it. It's all smoke, no fire, like Ira says. And you want to monetize. Best way to do that is just get on the phone. And all you got to do is offer people like maybe 10-minute conversations, right? Don't say, hey, maybe we can book out an hour and have a conversation, right? If you don't know that person, it's gonna be really hard for them to say yes to investing in that time with you. That's a lot of time. People put a lot of premium on their time, don't you think, Ira?
Yeah, I mean, an hour is really a long time, but it's 10, 15 minutes. Most people will be open to that. It's kind of like, I suppose, speed dating. I've never done speed dating. Corey, you probably have. I don't know.
Nope, never had to.
Yeah, huh?
No.
Are you sure about that?
I'm very
Okay,
sure.
I'm just checking.
Now, I've gone on dates that were pretty speedy.
Right.
That's different.
So we won't go there. But as far as, but no, 15 minutes is, we had a gal that, Sabrina Gibson, she offered, actually it was a 30-minute consultation, and she just got overrun by requests. And she had a really good message, and people really resonated with her. But I think 15 minutes, it's a nice way to just sort of get acquainted, find out a little bit about them. You saw their profile, you were impressed, and you like to really be able to collaborate. People love that word collaboration these days. And then just get on that call, and if there's, if you resonate with that person, they resonate with you, and they have a legitimate need for what you're doing, and you can help each other. That's the beginning of a great business relationship. So, but you definitely want to get them on a call, and that's all you want to do is sell the appointment. That's all you really want to do, and you want to make it in such a way that it's going to be in their best interest, and so that you want to tweak something that's going to really intrigue them. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be compelling. It's going to be memorable. Why do I want to give up, even 15 minutes of my day to meet with you? What's in it for me? And that's always a big question people always ask is, WIFM, what's in it for me? So you need to be thinking about that all the time. We call it an irresistible offer. What is that? What is that irresistible offer that you can offer, your potential clients, for some kind of a consultative meeting? And that's going to be, rather than just, I want to get on a call so I can sell you, so I can make commissions, so I can take the money, so I can go on a vacation, so I can party. That's not exactly the best business model, right, Corey?
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends what kind of business you're in, right? But no, I mean, here's the gist of it. Once you connect with somebody, what you really want to do is you want to actually send them a message that says, hey, by the way, here's what I'm up to in case this might be of interest to you. And it's just a simple message. And then you go into what you do. Like we would say, we've got an amazing program here. It's Mojo Lead Mastery, mojoleadmastery.com if you want to check it out. I got a free 14-day free trial. And it's 10 ways to get leads, right? We talk about Facebook, LinkedIn. We talk about trade shows. We talk about getting speaking gigs. We talk about using books, all of those ways to get leads. And anyway, check it out. Love to get your feedback on it. And if it's something that would be great, maybe this could be even something you could promote. But if you want to have a conversation, we could talk more about leads. Here's where you go to schedule into my calendar, and we can have a quick little 10-minute conversation. But anyway, I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you soon, right? So that's a very soft approach to doing it, but you're taking a connection that you just made on LinkedIn, and you're kind of really doing a almost a subtle sales pitch, right? And it feels good to the prospect because you're not just going full bore. You're not just pitching them right off the bat. First of all, no. You went and got a connection first. Connection is kind of like a friend on Facebook. It feels better, right? So that's where you want to start. You don't want to go right into the pitch. Once they become your connection, you can kind of pitch them a little bit, but you can't go full bore because then they'll want to unconnect with you all of a sudden. I mean, that happened. That's the last thing you want to do is is lose that connection right off the bat, right? So so you don't want to be too overbearing because it'll make them feel like they made a poor decision in connecting with you. Okay, so send a really soft, nice message. Don't make it too pitchy. But I mean, if you say, "Oh, by the way, here's what I'm up to," it really comes off very nice, and people are very responsive to that, and they'll want to have that consultation with you, right? So so we usually send people to a funnel, right? A link where they can actually get the free trial and stuff like that. People like that. But if you just want to keep it very simple, then what I recommend is just say, "Oh, here's what I do. I do merchant processing services, and this is how I help people." And don't make it too long, by the way. Just kind of really short, really short. Don't make it like an entire essay. Certainly, nothing more than, I don't know, 8 lines or something like that. Just make it really short, really impactful, to the point, and give them the link where they can schedule into your calendar, right? We use TimeTrade. It's a great software that you can use to get people scheduled into your calendar. Very easy. Get set up on it. Just go Google TimeTrade, and you'll have this amazing piece of software. And it saved us, like, at this point, thousands of hours over the years that we've used this thing, because it means that people can actually go to our calendar. They can find the time that they like. They can schedule themselves into our calendar, and all of a sudden, they're in our calendar, and we don't have to go back and forth. I don't need to have an executive assistant schedule with them and follow up with them and find out what time works. No, they just go in the calendar and then they book, and then you end off your message with just a simple to your success, or whatever kind of little thing you like at the end of your signature, and leave your contact details, your phone number, your email address, whatever you feel, and that's it. It's a simple message, but the first thing you're doing is connecting with them. You're selling them on the reason they want to connect with you. Now you've got them in your grasp, your layer, and now you can do all kinds of things with that lead. I mean, you could actually message to them over and over, right? This first message that you're sending is just kind of a first soft pitch. And oh, by the way, when you connect to them the first time, you've got your profile. Remember, we talked about the profile summary, how that's got to be well built, and that's got to look good, and that's got to sell your product and service. That's going to do the pitching for you. So you already kind of started the selling in the first touch, where you're doing the connection request, and you continue it more subtly in the second one, because you're sending a message to them, right? You can be almost as pitchy as you like in your sales and in your summary, because that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not like you pitching them. They decided to go to your profile, check it out, and they're looking at what you do, right? So you can be a little bit more pitchy and kind of make sure they know exactly what you do. And then in the second message that you're going out to them, you're selling to them subtly with the pitch on what you do. And then after that, you can actually message them over and over and over again, as often as you like. I mean, we recommend at least once every 2 weeks, right? Where you can message out to your contacts. Now, this can be kind of tricky, because if you want to do this on LinkedIn, you have to do it one by one. Well, we've got some systems we've developed that make it even easier to do that, but it is very tricky to do this. But I got to tell you, the responses you get when you're marketing and remarketing to your first level connections are huge. I mean, just imagine if you have an event coming up, right? Like we'll be part of events here. We'll be speaking at different events, and we'll want to let the people know exactly what we're doing there. And so we'll send out a quick little message to all our Arizona folks, right? Did you know you could do that? You could actually, create a classification of your LinkedIn connections and actually classify your Arizona ones. So all the ones in Arizona, they can get this little message and get invited to this event that you're going to be speaking at. It's awesome. I mean, it is one of the most brilliant ways to get in front of your connections. And here's the thing. I mean, people don't opt out with your connections. I mean, in order to not get your messages, I mean, they literally have to stop being your connection, right? And people don't like to diminish their connections, right? Once you get a connection, right, Ira, I mean, people just psychologically, they don't want to give that up.
No, not at all, because that's part of what I call social currency. And the more social currency you have, the more influence you have. And at the end of the day, it's all about your influence. And as you build your community or your tribe or your database, your influence proportionally goes up. So keep that in mind as you're reaching out to people, as you're talking to people, as you're building relationships. What are some of the things you can do for them? What value? Corey's mentioned about you can message out to people once a week or every couple weeks. I don't mind. There's some people that actually email me. A few people, really high level marketers, email me almost every day. Does it annoy me? It really doesn't, because every time I open up their email, and if I have the time, I don't always, I know there's something in there that's interesting. I know there's something in there that I'm going to find intriguing, that I'm going to read, I'm going to walk away with one new idea. So it's really all about, what are you putting out there? What do you have to say? Is it worthwhile? Or are you just trying to sell somebody something? So you've got to always be thinking, what's in it for the other person. And if you're giving so much value, they're gonna if you stop sending them information, they're gonna feel like you've actually, they're gonna feel like, well, how come I'm not getting emails anymore, or how come I'm not getting messages? And we've had that happen where we'll bump into somebody at an event, and for whatever reason, they're not getting our information, and they start saying, God, put us back on your list. And so that's when you know that you're really sending out quality content. And right now, in this new economy, content is king. You got to push out things that are really important, that people want to, they want to consume. Because right now, people can choose the kind of information they're consuming. People have a choice. They have thousands of choices every day. So it's very competitive out there. So you've got to put some thought into what you're pushing out there. You can't just off the top of your head, just put something out there that you think people are going to want. Actually be strategic about it. And I know that's something we really work hard on at Mojo, rather than just sending out information. We think about it, and we think about it some more before we pull the trigger and send out those emails. Wouldn't you agree, Corey?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to be honed in on what you want to do at 1,000%. And, you got to really give it to them and clarify it in a way that makes sense, right? I mean, it just goes down to, it's like your 30-second commercial, right? You ever go to like a BNI networking event or something like that, right? And you have to give your actual commercial. You want it honed in, and you want people by the end of it to know exactly what you do. I mean, we talk about BNI and networking, and a lot of people, even after years of being in the same BNI group, we still don't know what they do, right? So it happens. So yeah, you want to be very clear on what you do and how people get involved. So back to sending messages on LinkedIn. I can actually, one of the ways that you can follow up with them is go to your message inbox and then pull up that person and send them a message, right? And you can do that one by one and actually kind of do some search terms and make it easy for you to find those subsets. I mean, you can actually on LinkedIn classify people into different groups. For instance, you can have a group for your clients, you can have a group for your prospects, you can have a group for people living in Arizona. You can have a certain kind of industry that is a group of your prospects. For instance, one of our prospects is marketing companies. So we go after a lot of marketing companies. So that could be one of your classifications. You can actually do this in LinkedIn. They call it tagging, right? And tagging, you just go to your connections. You click on the connections tab, and then you go take a look at one of your connections, and a button on there. It'll look like a little shopping sale tag. It's a little icon, and you just click on and tag, and you can create a tag. You can pick one that you already have and just put it in there. So it's very easy to do, and then you keep doing that with all your contacts, and pretty soon you'll have a great list of people to choose from. I mean, the biggest one you want to focus on is your tag of prospects, okay? Because at the end of the day, I mean, does any other tag really matter? I mean, you really want to focus on your prospects, right? Who cares about you having a tag of your colleagues or your classmates, right? I mean, you're not going to market to your classmates unless you are marketing to your classmates, in which case it might make a difference. But for the majority of people, I mean, you're marketing to prospects. I mean, that's what you want to focus and put all your time and energy into. So create that tag, and it'll definitely serve you well, because that's a list you can go back to time and time again. Okay, so definitely tag them, and then keep sending those people messages using LinkedIn, and that way it makes it easy for you to stay in contact with them. You'll get really high response rates. You want to personalize your message to them. Just make sure you say hi, Jim, hi, Sue, hi, Sharon, whatever it is, and send them a message. And it could be a quick little video that you found that might be interesting to them. It could be a promo for a new sale that you got going on. You know, it might be just a news article about something related to your industry. I mean, it could really be anything. I mean, it could be a new interview that you had posted, you know, something like, you know, the Mojo Marketing Edge. We could send people, you know, links to their interview. We could, you know, send them links to our new webinar coming up or our new landing page. So, you know, sky's the limit when it comes to this. And so that's the next thing that you want to do is start dissecting and segmenting out your contacts on LinkedIn, so that way you can really market to them easier. So we're going to take a quick break, and we come back, we're going to talk more about LinkedIn prospecting and marketing, and basically some of the coolest things that we've done as of late to really market on LinkedIn. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Cool. All right. Then we'll just wrap it up with
We could do a 10-minute commercial. They have put an offer up to have them go to a shopping cart.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to pipe in this quality of audio into this Hangout. That'd be kind of cool. So we'll figure that out.
Were you the only one in class today? The Gina's?
I was one of two.
Who's the other one?
Ken.
Ken Kroll?
Yeah, but he was on mute most of the time.
So basically Mojo got the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. So
how many more classes are left?
I don't know. I got to send you money.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know how many. Most of the time we end up talking about Mojo anyway. I give them the first hour to talk about anything else, and then the last hour is usually about Mojo.
That's funny.
But, yeah.
All right. So what are we going to talk about here on the things? What the messaging, or
we did that, so we're just on to.
We'll talk about how to use video. How to drive into a video. How to use video with LinkedIn, which is pretty powerful.
We talk about that. Yeah. Anything related to getting more appointments on LinkedIn, basically. Okay. Yeah. And we're back. Corey Michael Sanchez here, Ira Rosen, MojoVideoMarketing.com. Go check it out. We've got some great stuff on there. This is a great program where we talk a lot about leads and how to generate leads. So right now we're on the topic of LinkedIn because it's actually pretty awesome. It's our favorite topic because it is so super effective. And so Ira, we're gonna wrap in this last segment. We're gonna talk about more ways to get appointments on LinkedIn. And all of that stuff. So what are some other recommendations that you have?
Well, I love video. And video, that's how we started off initially, was video. And video to me is really, I think video along with LinkedIn are the two most powerful solutions for lead gen that there is, because you drive them to a video, this is what we do with our funnels. Before most people talk to us, they've watched, usually it's a 15-minute video that explains who we are, what we do, what we're about, and builds that trust and gives them clarity of what we do, because a confused mind will never buy anything. So what we use video for with LinkedIn is they actually watch this video before we get on a call with them. And we found when we started doing this a few years ago, our closing ratios jumped way up. So it doesn't have to be a 15-minute video. It could be something as short as even a minute. It doesn't even matter sometimes, just so they've seen you first in advance. But ideally, I would say a 3 to a 5-minute video of actually talking about your product. Now, 5 minutes is not enough. Then, take it up longer. And it doesn't have to be professionally done in such a way that you're spending a lot of money. It can be just so that the lighting is good, the sound is good, you're clear on your message. That's going to really separate you from everyone else. Because at the end of the day, that's really what you want to do, is you want to separate yourself from everyone else, because very few people are using video on LinkedIn. And when you do that, it really puts you in a whole separate category. Wouldn't you agree, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, video works for anything. It doesn't just work for LinkedIn. I mean, the way that people use, video on LinkedIn. I mean, you can even put videos on your LinkedIn channel. I mean, on your profile, there's a space where you can add media. So you can add all kinds of testimonials. On our profiles, we got all kinds of testimonials. It's awesome. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to have, okay, for your own company is have your video testimonials, put them on YouTube, then take them and put them on your LinkedIn profile, and boom, you've got more marketing channels. You got more, another way to describe and tell people what you do, right? So Ira was talking about longer videos. He's essentially referring to a sales video, right? That's what he was referring to. And most videos you don't want to have too long, 60 seconds or less. This video, on the other hand, it could be, it could be 3 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. I mean, we have a 15-minute sales video, and the sales video basically does all the selling for us. And you can have that on your LinkedIn profile, and people can watch that and engage with it. And it's basically like, you're doing the selling before you even get to the meeting. So if you're setting up consultations, you want to definitely use video. You want to use this kind of video in order to get in front of people. It's called a sales video, and basically what it does is, I want you to look at something. Look at how you present, right? If you get in a one-on-one situation where you're talking to a prospect, I mean, what are you saying? And do you notice that you say the same things over and over? When you get into a consultation, are you covering the same 10 points? Are you almost saying it verbatim? Or are you kind of like mixing it up a little just so you can, keep it interesting for you? What are you doing when it comes to, how you're selling? And then I'm guessing that you're probably going to realize that you say pretty much the same things over and over again in your sales process, right? Because, in order to sell, I mean, you got to present it, what it is, what is the solution, what is the problem that they're having, what is the solution, overcome objections, and then get them excited about buying it, right? So it's the same thing that you're going to do with this video. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to take all the stuff that you're going to say in the sales presentation and just turn it into a video instead, and get it in front of your prospects. So that way, by the time they show up to the meeting, they already know what you do. They already have seen you, in action, talking about it. They already know why it's a benefit to them. You've already used it to overcome objections. And, it becomes a lot easier of a sale when you have those things going for you, and they already know all about your products and services. So utilize that when it comes to setting up appointments. And you can do that whether it's on LinkedIn, or you're going to trade shows, or you're getting other leads, or you have appointment setters making dials. Use that method in everything you do. For us, it's a very effective way of pre-qualifying all our leads, because by the time we show up, I mean, people already know. They've seen the video. They know what we do. They know how we do it. They know why we're a benefit to them. They're excited about it. We just need to talk pricing and terms, and that's it. It becomes more exciting. And then, building the relationship. It allows us to spend more time in getting to know their business and building the relationship, rather than explaining exactly what we have. So that's a big trick for everybody on here, because, if you utilize that, I mean, you're going to really love it. I mean, this is a system, a formula that works. We call it it's called the lead tsunami system. And that's really what we talk about is, you get the leads on LinkedIn, you connect with people, you get appointments lined up, you pre-sell them a video, then you have the meeting, right? And pre-selling them with video is critical. If we didn't do that in our business these days, I mean, it would just, we would want to pluck our eyeballs out. It'd be so difficult to go through that every single meeting. I mean, we're filling our calendars to the brim. I mean, we're talking about 6 meetings a day, 7, 8 sometimes. I mean, it just depends on the day. But that's a lot of meetings. Would you really want to say the same thing over and over and over again? No. I mean, that gets tedious. That gets boring, you know. And then, you know, here's the thing. Then you have prospects that need to think about it, right? Well, if you get the video in front of them, they've already thought about it. They've already decided whether they're going to come on board. You know, they just need to know if the financing is going to work out for them. That's what you want in your business. That's when it gets exciting. Okay, I mean, there's no way we would do this with our business without that video. I mean, it essentially, how easy, you know, how much easier does it make it, Ira, for the sales to have that kind of thing in your business?
Well, here's a stat that I probably have talked about before on other shows, and that is a 1-minute video has the same emotional impact as 1.8 million written words. That's incredible. And, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, if that's the case, then a video is worth 1,000 pictures. They say it takes 150 days to writing copy for 1 hour a day to generate 1.8 million written words. So anytime there's a transaction or a sale, there's always two things that come into play. One is logic. You know, it has to make sense. It has to fill a need. It has to, you know, it has to be logical in their mind. And the other part is emotion. And that's where video comes in, because video triggers emotion. If you just give people a lot of content and there's no sizzle there, there's no emotion, there's no connectivity, you're probably getting a lot of people that are going to say, you know, I like you, I like your product, but I got to think about it. And you're probably not closing as many deals as you'd like. So that's why I love video, because video is so powerful. I mean, you can see people's body language. You can see their voice inflection. You know, you can look at somebody within 3 to 5 seconds and make a judgment call on whether, you know, how you connect up with that person just by the way they're standing, their facial expressions, you know, the way they look at people, you know, the tonality of their voice. I mean, video is it's the next best thing for someone beaming you up and taking you right there, which I'm sure in another 100 years, Corey, will probably be the case. But for right now, time travel is, and maybe later on, you know, it's Mojo time travel. You know, that could be a whole nother division down the road. But you know, here's the thing. Here's a question you've got to ask yourself. And you know, we don't have a lot of time left, but here's the bigger question you got to really get honest with yourself is, you know, is your, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, how would you rate your marketing? How would you rate your lead generation? And if it's average, if it's just average, then you really, and I congratulate you for at least being on this call, because it's a step in the right direction. But average is a guaranteed recipe for failure. You know, mediocrity is all around us. There's not a shortage of mediocrity, and it's a big problem, and that is the number one reason why businesses fail, because everything they're doing is just okay or just average. If you're going to be in business to win big. You know, play small, win big. And so the way to do that is, you know, get on LinkedIn, figure out the best ways, and we can help you with that if you like. That's what we're here for, but that's not what this whole call is about today. It's just giving you great content, but we are experts in that field. But you want to have LinkedIn mastery. You want to also use video with LinkedIn. Those two combinations together, you'll absolutely, if you do everything correctly together and integrate them in such a way that the sequences are correct, you will absolutely hit it out of the ballpark, because we have tried pretty much everything you can imagine. And we do something, we don't spend just $50 or $100 on it. We're all in, and we're not afraid to invest the big dollars just to make sure, or to find out what really works or what really doesn't work. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, use these formulas, because this is why we call it the quantum lead tsunami system. No, we're still going. we're still going. So, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So this is why we keep going with the lead tsunami system. You gotta love it. So basically, yeah, you want to get the lead on LinkedIn. Okay, then you want to message out to them to get the appointment. And then after that, you want to pre-sell them with video. And then after that, once you have the meeting, I mean, you should be really a far way into the closing. I mean, 80% done, 90% done. I mean, now at this point, build a relationship, get them to like you more, get them ready to spend those dollars with you, right? And that's really what it comes down to. And then there's the follow-up that happens after that. What do you do then? Well, I mean, that one's actually a more simple approach. I mean, what you got to do is essentially, follow up with testimonials, case studies, social proof. We talked a lot about social proof before, and it's one of the easiest ways to sell your products and services, where you are just getting you're overcoming objections to other people's stories about how they like you, right? And that's what people need these days. I mean, you just tell them how great your product and service is. I mean, they're kind of like not always believe it, right? You gotta show them. You gotta show them other people that like your product and service. I mean, that really goes a long way to help sell it, don't you think, Ira?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a really, really good point here. It's called third-party validation. It's just like on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, but like on Facebook, where people write reviews, and those are far more powerful, whether it's a good review or a bad review, what people think about your business. That's critically important. So like someone's got a restaurant and everyone's having great meals, and you read all these reviews that, oh my God, the food is amazing, the service is even better, you're going to want to go there, versus if you see an ad on TV and they tell you how great they are, many times you get there and the experience is exactly the opposite. So social proof is everything. Third-party validation. It's impossible to have too many testimonials. We have hundreds of them, and every week we're always pushing our team to capture more testimonials, because every week we have more success stories. On the way over here, someone called me. He's a business coach, and in the last month, he brought on 4 high-level clients, and these are people that pay him, $50,000 to $75,000 a year annually. So you think he was maybe a little bit excited? Absolutely. So, needless to say, we're getting a testimonial from him. That testimonial will be invaluable, because there'll be another coach out there that wants to do this, but he's going to say to himself, I want to talk to a business coach that does something similar that I do. So if you have a library of testimonials of different niches, that would be absolutely invaluable.
All right. Well, this has been a great show. Thanks for tuning in. If you're there watching our first broadcast Google Hangout on our program here, very excited about you learning these formulas. Go check out mojovideomarketing.com and also mojoleadmastery.com. We've got a free 14-day free trial you can get into for the system on all 10 ways to generate leads. So get in there, enjoy it. Thanks so much for listening to the program. We will talk to everybody soon. Have a great day. We'll see you next week on the Mojo Marketing Edge. Adios.